Hi friends, I'm Sergeant Host Eric. This is my partner, Vice Captain Rachel. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Type Police. Try as you might, you just can't hide, 'cause you're mistyped. And I've been waiting to pull you over all night. Type Police, Type Police, please pull that guy over. He says he's INTP, but seems extroverted sensing to me. I think he's ESFP or Type Police. Welcome back to Type Police. So today we have an instance of an individual who has self-reported, and he says he's an INTP, possibly an ENTP, but that everyone says he's crazy and tells him he's an ESFP. He invited us to pull him over and find out if he belongs in type jail or not. Peter, you haven't even seen any of his videos yet. How do you have an opinion? Let's take a look.
This is like super simple shit, but so say if like 1 week you do 10 reps and the next week you do 11 reps and the third week you do 12 reps. So like that's progressively overloading, and I kind of like took that concept and just doing like a little bit more to every other like idea in life, and it seems to work pretty good for progressing in productivity. Obviously sometimes it can be a bit too slow, but yes. But another example was I was kind of researching epilepsy, and basically because I have that as well, so I have like a very different type though compared to what the normal kind of thing is though. What the normal thing is, but basically, and to I fucking lose my train of thought like all the time. But basically, I like researched like a lot of the medicines, like the USA like bullshit like fucking pharma medicines, I guess. So there's like some like Keppra, and then the actual like name for that is like levetiracetam or something like that. And then I was like researching a lot of nootropics, and then within this one nootropic called phenylpracetam in studies, it was like, oh, it's shown to reduce epileptic activity in the brain. And then so my first instinct of what my brain like basically picked up was like, and this was like years apart, this wasn't like I saw them on the same day, but basically, so after I saw the study thing, I'm like, oh shit, acetam, fucking levetiracetam, and then paracetam, and then phenylpracetam. So I'm like, there's got to be something up with this, with there being like the acetams or something like that. It's a lot of the things that like, I don't know if all INTPs do this, but you won't know why a lot of things like do stuff. You'll just kind of like why a lot of things are connecting. You just know that there's something like fishy up with like all the patterns that go on. You know that there's like a message and there's something to be found, and they're kind of like, that kind of like relays it to your conscious mind to kind of be like, yo, you need to like keep looking into this because there's something like weird going on. And normally when you learn to kind of listen to that idea of like that there's something going on, and you learn like the pattern of when that comes to be, then you can like start understanding your brain patterns a bit more and being like, okay, this may not be working, or this is like something I should be looking into. And the NSI is basically just being able to really dig down into the patterns and reconnecting past events to present events and things like that. Works pretty good.
I haven't heard anything that would suggest TI yet. I've heard a lot of TE, and I've heard a lot of unconnected NI. So let's fast forward a bit and see what else he has to offer for our evaluatory pleasure.
Random shit throughout the day that you're just trying to figure out. And that, I mean, that zoning out and that being in your head is what makes INTP. So it's not bad. It just needs to, things like meditation are going to make that a lot better. But learning to be more present when the time comes for it. Number 5, when I was younger, I value others' feelings/opinions towards me way too much. So even though like I wouldn't think a lot of the things they'd be doing is logical or the feelings towards me, it's like that FE is kind of like feeling others. Like C.S. Joseph says how FI is scared that they're a bad person, and FE is scared that they're making others like feel bad and stuff. So like I've never really
All right, let's review that bit he just said right there. I think he got it backwards.
think you're dumb, and sometimes you'll realize things that no one else has. It makes you think there's no way I'm smart enough to have thought of this on my own. There are like tons of things that like I thought of on my own, then to later like realize that somebody like talked about it, and like without me ever seeing that, unless it was some subconscious relaying message in my conscious mind, but I highly doubt that. But
First off, I'd say what I'm seeing here is a lot of demonstrative FE. In other words, telling everybody about his own experiences and how he ought to be perceived, but isn't, maybe, or is sometimes, and a lot about how his own understanding of self matches up with creative descriptions of creativity. Notice that I've not heard any actual creativity from him, but let's give him a little bit more time here. I still haven't heard any TI at all.
I think you're dumb if you're not voicing your opinion a lot, because people will judge you based on how they see you externally if they never get to hear your internal, which is dumb. You shouldn't want to be smart. I mean, I don't know if you should want to be smart. I need to think on that more, but I don't think you want to be dumb. But it's just not good to kind of have an ego and think that you're better than everyone else. It's better to understand everybody has their certain way of interacting and interfacing within this world. But yeah, a lot of the times I've come up with stuff and be like, there's no way like I'm smart enough to have thought of that on my own. To people that aren't INTPs, this will probably like come off as like narcissistic and stuff, but you know, it just, the truth is we come up with a ton of shit that you're like, holy shit, like nobody else is thinking like this. Why is nobody else thinking about this? You know, it's when you see the pattern of nobody else thinking like that, you tend to start seeing yourself.
What I hear here is claims of that occurring, but no examples of it occurring, right? So can we have some examples of stuff that you've thought of that was particularly insightful that actually you find out later, oh, somebody else thought of that originally? Because right now, this making a bunch of claims about yourself and how you are and who you are in relation to sort of adjectives that might be used to describe people is not consistent at all with INTP or ENTP.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you live with an ENTP.
Yes, I do.
And does this individual seem like an NTP to you at all?
No.
Neither to me either. So
This is a bit smarter than others, which, you know, I don't know if that's bad or not. I think you should be real with yourself and see your strengths, but I don't think you should look down on others and feel you are whatever it is, you know, feel you are superior to them. Try to understand everybody's strengths, like I was saying earlier. Let's see. Number 7, it is very easy to understand why you feel some way if you have learned to track the patterns and everything prior during that emotion. So like there's very little, it never really happens to when I'm like sad or like I'm angry, or maybe when I was younger and I didn't have enough time of going through those experiences to really understand the emotions. But you know, you can normally, if you reflect enough, you can normally figure out like why you're not feeling good. You never really feel helpless when it comes to your emotions. You just gotta have that pattern recognition and understand everything like that. Like just right now, I'm then in turn thinking like, oh shit, that's probably why like double observers have both of their decider functions on the bottom, is because if, say, for example, if like it was the other way around, then that'd be kind of like a train wreck. But yeah, let me get on to number 8.
okay, so he just describes how he always knows his own emotions and is always capable of recognizing patterns that link to those. That sounds like tool function, FI, and probably fourth slot NI, is what it sounds like. Let's see what else he had to say.
You turn into ESFJ subconscious when you're in extroverted setting. So, like a lot of the times, like I don't want to sound narcissistic or anything, but with like lifting or whatever, like I've got a few people in lifting. Like I've written a lot of programs. I'll do this and stuff, and like people, you know, people will look up to you if you've accomplished stuff like that, especially kind of like early 20s or like teens and stuff. You know, because I mean, who doesn't want to lift and shit? But basically, it's very easy to like, which isn't bad. It's very easy to just get into the energy state of really recognizing somebody's strength. You're like, oh shoot, your triceps are looking like way bigger. if it may sound a little bit gay, but it's not like there's anything wrong with being gay. Gotta have the little FE disclaimer there. But yeah, basically, it's just very easy to get into like kind of seeing people's sensory strengths and even sometimes their internal strengths too. You know, it's I feel I always want to tell people when they're good at something, because a lot of the times people don't know if they're good at certain things, and it's like
That's not INTP or ENTP particularly. I think it's fair to say that neither type is particularly prone to telling other people that they're good at things, although we can be better or worse at it, I suppose.
shit like that. Number 9, when you get drunk, you notice a bit of your ENTJ shadow surfacing. This is a big thing. I noticed this on my own because like this is one of the like kind of theories that I would then later see. I was like, you know, I'm acting like very different when I get drunk, and it's not like I generally don't know anything, like credentialed and not, because it's better to be that way than the other way around, depending on what situations.
Rachel, thoughts?
I didn't see any or hear any TI.
I didn't either. I heard a bunch of FE describing the self, not really through one's own experiences. A couple of examples relating to weightlifting. A declaration of understanding one's own feelings. A lot of references to NI greatness, no examples thereof. A consistent mistaking of NI for NE. And a consistent overvaluing of, I think, his own NI, because if he had better NI, he wouldn't be spending so much time talking about how good it is. Rather, he'd spend some time exemplifying it. I think ESFP is a good typing form, but I don't know for sure.
I don't know for sure either.
Here's what he's definitely not. Definitely not an INTP. Definitely not an ENTP.
I agree with that.
Which means, sorry, buddy, but you're going to
The Slammer.
Try as you might, you just can't hide, 'cause you're mistyped. And I've been waiting to pull you over all night. Type police, type police. Please pull that guy over. He says he's INTP, but seems extroverted, sensing to me. I think he's ESFP or type police.
I mean, this would seem to be the textbook example of what it says in the song, right? He says INTP, but he sure seems ESFP to me.
That's a really good point.
Well,
Take that into consideration.
also, give him credit. He did turn himself in.
True.
So, props for that.
Props for that.
Have fun in type jail.